The latest estimates suggest Oklahoma will trail only California and Texas in the total number of Afghan refugees that are being welcomed and relocated here following the U.S.'s chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. Catholic Charities reports Oklahoma City has already taken in 800 refugees, and Tulsa is right behind with 600, and those numbers continue to grow. Steve Shaw reports on a massive volunteer effort that epitomizes the Oklahoma standard. Steve?
Rich, Tulsa Catholic Charities calls it the largest mobilization of volunteers and resources in their history. It started last August when the Afghan government officially crumbled and the feared Taliban overran Kabul, Afghanistan's largest city and capital. Just after an American Airlines flight touched down at Tulsa International Airport late Monday, a welcoming party was there to greet an Afghan family who will likely retell this story for generations.
We got the phone call from our office in Washington, D.C. saying, hey, what are you in for? And we put our numbers down and never looked back.
Catholic Charities of Eastern Oklahoma CEO Kevin Sartorius calls what's been going on in this Tulsa warehouse, in hotels, apartment buildings, and area homes, the largest volunteer mobilization in the history of Tulsa Catholic Charities.
We find out about a week or so before they arrive that this person with their age and their spouse and their kids are going to be residents of Tulsa. We go and pick them up at the airport. We get them a hot meal because they've had a long day of travel. Take them to a hotel typically at the beginning and give them a safety briefing. This is what the tornado sirens sound like, and this is what happens in a fire drill. But then they spend a few days kind of just unpacking and emotionally. They don't really come with anything.
Sartorius says these are the Afghans we saw on TV back in mid-August, who waited, many for days, outside in the searing Afghan heat to board massive U.S. military cargo planes. They were airlifted first to friendly foreign soil before getting another lift to military bases here in the U.S. These are refugees invited here by the U.S. State Department. They're not undocumented immigrants.
Oh boy, we see every day that they are anxious to get started as Americans. They know they have a golden ticket, a real gift that's been given to them to be in America. And they want to, I think, make good on that. They want to make their family proud. They want to do anything they can to help their family have a better situation, both their family here and their family back home.
Joseph Jada immigrated to Tulsa from Afghanistan 31 years ago. He's an anesthesiologist at a Tulsa hospital who is also volunteering as an interpreter for arriving families. And by the way, they need interpreters. How grateful are you to be able to help these folks after your own journey 31 years ago?
Oh, it's one of those things that you never know, and you will never be ready for such a thing, and suddenly it happened, and not only myself, but my family and a bunch of people in the community, every member just stood up and they all got together as a team, and it's just unbelievable.
Sartorius says when refugees arrive in Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and even Stillwater's expecting at least 100, they spend about 3 weeks in hotels. There they begin cultural orientation, which is a fancy way of saying they start learning the American language.
Yes, I think so. It's real tough. It's real tough for them, but a lot of them are very motivated on wanting to learn English.
Todd Slezak is case manager supervisor for Tulsa Catholic Charities.
They like French fries. They like fried pickles. And that's probably one of the biggest ones that I've seen they really like. They're not big on hamburgers, but they do like vegetarian pizzas as well.
In those hotels, more than 200 Afghan children have already started school. Tulsa Public Schools Executive Director for Cultural and Language Services, Laura Grisso, says many of these kids already have outstanding computer skills. But again, the language barrier is daunting.
There are actually multiple languages spoken in Afghanistan. Dari and Pashto are the two most common languages.
After about a month, families are moved to more permanent housing in apartments and even homes, living spaces that come fully furnished and with about a month of food. It is then they begin job training.
Catholic Charities is not able to do all of this on our own. It's a massive undertaking. And so we put the word out to the community here in Tulsa, and they responded. People stepped up like you wouldn't believe. So, for example, in the apartments, we know that we need about 25,000 items. And so we got a warehouse and got everything ready for it. We put the word out, and we received already 90% of that donated by people in Tulsa.
The local synagogue, Congregation B'nai Emunah, partners with Catholic Charities. They're taking care of around 65 Afghan refugees as well.
They've suffered, they've had to flee. My mother is a refugee from Cuba. My grandfather is a Holocaust survivor. I identify very much personally with the story of what it means to be a refugee. Our congregation also happens to be a congregation that was founded by Latvian refugees who came to Tulsa searching for a new opportunity and a new place and a place to flourish.
How many years ago?
Over 100 years ago.
There's a long history in refugee resettlement of seeing that the people who make it to the United States are ones who have initiative, and they're entrepreneurial, and they're just go-getters. So they go in a short period, maybe 5 years, from being nothing in their bag, nothing in their hand, to homeowners. They're not going to stop. They know what they've been given, and they don't take it for granted one day.
The U.S. government has committed to taking in as many as 125,000 Afghan refugees in all. Next week on the Oklahoma News Report, we will speak with two of these families.